Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be making this soup called borscht. It's a traditional Russian soup, and usually you put meat in it. Today I'm not using any meat because it's going to take way too long and I don't have that much time. So I'm just using a whole bunch of vegetables that I have laid out here. It's super light, super healthy. It is super delicious. Cabbage is really good for you, all the ingredients and they're healthy. It's a little gloomy outside, so I'm thinking a soup would be a good idea. Even though it's, summer and it's hot, but sometimes even on a hot summer day you want a soup, but just not too heavy. So this is perfect. The ingredients for this soup are cabbage, 2 potatoes, onion, beet, carrots, celery, lemon, bay leaf, peppercorns, salt and pepper, of course. And now I'm just going to be making my own broth. It's going to be vegetable broth. That's why I will be using a celery and a carrot to make it. However, you can use chicken stock, you can use beef stock, you can even use bone broth that has collagen. Traditionally, borscht is actually made with meat, so you put meat and you make the stock out of it. I'm not doing it because it's hot and I want to keep it as light as possible. Another advantage is that it's going to be so much quicker because borscht, if anyone who has made it in the past, they know it takes a long process. I want to make it quick and fast and light, and that's why I'm just using vegetables. The way I'm making my own broth is very simple and easy. All I'm doing is just quartering a whole onion, chopping up 2 celery sticks, and then just chopping up a whole carrot. I don't need to peel it or anything because I'm going to discard it in the end. Along with my vegetables, I am also going to add 1 whole potato, which I will peel and just cut into quarters. Afterwards, that's the one thing I will be reserving because I'll be mashing it up and then throwing it back into the soup.
We were young, but not enough to be dumb. It was love. Seems like you forgot I was your own.
After I put all the vegetables in the water, I'm adding some peppercorns. I would say about 4 or 5, and 1 whole bay leaf or 2 depending how much you want.
They're fresh in my mind. You and I by the ocean side.
While the broth is being made, I am peeling. I already peeled the carrot, now I'm shredding it, and then I'm also going to peel the beet, just 1 beet, and then shred it as well. And then I'm going to chop up the bell pepper, about 1/4 of a cabbage that I have over there, and then another potato I'm going to peel and cut it into cubes because that's what I'll be putting into the soup. So all I'm doing is getting all the vegetables ready, so then when it's time to put them in, they're already all ready to go. Here I'm adding the onion, the carrot that I shredded, and the beet, and I'm gonna let it saute for about 25 to 30 minutes. Then I'm gonna add the tomato paste that I'm gonna mix with a little bit of water, and eventually that will go into the soup. Now I'm just adding some seasoning, just basically salt and pepper to the vegetables. So while this is being sauteed and the broth is being boiled, what I'm gonna do later, I'm actually going to take the potato that's been in there and I'm gonna smash it up to make like a mashed potato. And that's the secret to make it like creamier, I would say. It's something that my grandma told my mom, and now my mom told me to do it, and we've been doing it, and it works. It just makes the soup like thicker. So, and while this is happening, I'm actually going to chop up the rest of the vegetables. So I have everything ready and then just throw it in together. So it looks like it's a lot of steps, but while you're waiting on the broth to be boiled, while you're waiting for these vegetables to be sauteed, we're gonna be keeping ourselves busy basically. And then once all of that is ready, we just throw it together and it's basically done. This is my least favorite part, and that is chopping up the cabbage. It is time consuming and you have to kind of slice it at an angle. I don't know, it requires some patience, not gonna lie. After my hard labor of slicing up the cabbage, I am now moving on to my bell pepper. You can do yellow, orange, red, but I wouldn't recommend green because it has more of a peppery flavor. And you can also slice it however you want to. You can do a little thicker, thinner. I like my vegetables sliced a little bit thicker because I like more of a bite, but you can cut it however you want to. Here I'm dicing up the second potato and I'm gonna add it to the soup way before I'm adding the rest of the vegetables, about 20 to 25 minutes. So before I'm gonna be even throwing in the sauteed carrots, the beet, and the onion, I'm gonna throw this in and then I'll add, you know, the rest of the veggies at the very end, the cabbage, the bell pepper, because they don't need much time to be cooked, but you want the potato to be cooked. So that's why keep in mind to throw this in 20 minutes before. By the time I got done slicing and dicing the rest of the veggies, this is the mixture that was sauteing, and it should kind of look like this. I mean, it's been cooking for a little bit, so it basically cooks down and all the water is evaporated. And now the broth is ready as well. So I am going to scoop out all the veggies out of there and basically toss them because we don't need them anymore. But I will reserve the potato that's been cooked in because I'm gonna mash it up and then throw it back into the soup, which will become part of the broth basically. Now I'm gonna open my canned tomato paste, which I will mix up with some water. So in the glass, I'm gonna show you how much of the tomato paste and the water proportion for this amount of soup I'm gonna use. So this is just like a teaspoon. You can also do less or more. I mean, you can also do more water, more tomato paste. It all depends on the preference, but this is about as much as you would need. Basically 2.5 teaspoons. And now I'm gonna add some water, just like a splash, and mix it together. Maybe a little bit more, a little more, a little less, a little less, a little more. So kind of like this. Then I'm gonna add it to the vegetables. Here I'm just adding the tomato paste to the vegetable that's already been sauteed, and I'm just gonna let it cook off until there's no more liquid, about maybe 10-15 minutes. And this is how the mixture should look once it has been cooking off for a little bit. Basically, the water has evaporated, so it's just tomato paste, you know, carrots, onion, and beet. Now we're moving on to our boiled potato. I'm just using a fork and just smashing it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to put cream into it or anything. You just want it to be mashed up basically, and then you're gonna throw it back into the soup. Once the stock is boiling again, I'm gonna throw in the potato that's completely raw. 20 minutes before I'm gonna throw anything else because I want it to be cooked all the way. And now this is the fun part where everything just comes together. All I'm doing is seasoning the broth, adding the cooked vegetables and the tomato paste. And now I'm gonna throw in my cooked smashed potato, which will eventually become part of the soup. I mean, it melts into the broth, so you don't even see it, but it does make a difference because believe me, it just makes it so tasty and creamy. Lastly, I'm gonna throw in the cabbage and the bell pepper. Now I'm just stirring everything together just so everything gets incorporated and mixed in. At this point, I like to turn off the heat because I like the vegetables to have a little bit of a bite to it, and they will cook in the hot broth anyways. I just don't like them to be overcooked, but you can definitely keep it on and cook it a little bit longer if you like your vegetables more on a softer side. Soup is off the heat and it's basically finished. Don't worry about the vegetables not being fully cooked because once you turn off the heat, they're still in really hot broth. So they're gonna cook off. You just don't want them to be too mushy. That's once you throw them in there, you cook them for a little bit, like maybe 5 minutes, and then just turn off the heat. And last, I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon juice. And the reason I'm doing it, I don't know why, but it makes a difference and it tastes really good. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut about almost like a half a lemon, and I'm just gonna just squeeze in some juice at the very end. And there you have it, borscht is ready. Again, this is a much lighter and quicker version than the traditional one, but during summer days, this is the one I usually make. It's light and it's super healthy. The best thing about it, it is gonna be even better the next day. You can eat it just like this, or you can add some herbs and sour cream, which I strongly recommend. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you guys give this recipe a try. And if you did like it, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye!